you're here. Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. Isness of life. We'll say it together. Isness is my business. Right? You're here on a good day. Rev Marcia is going to come. She's got a beautiful lesson for us. She's going to spring it on us right now. Come on down, Marcia.
We're going to talk about springtime, and thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Okay. First of all, let's move that out of the way. So good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I decided to just admit that it would be better to wear my glasses. I think you understand, right? Seeing is good. All right. So spring, as Reverend James already said, is officially set to arrive next weekend. And yet clearly it is already here. I'm good with that. Are you? Yeah. Okay. So at least it's come to visit. I know I sent my sisters a screenshot of the weather, 10-day weather forecast, and the temperatures still go up, down, right? And one of them sent me back a graphic that shows some cartoon character saying, and spring is here, and wait, it's gone. Okay, it's back. So that's what's happening. It's a little too soon to put away our sweaters and our coats, and maybe too soon to bring our plants outside, because I thought about that, and then I looked at the weather app, and it said, no, not yet, they'll die if you do that. So, and winter, by the way, including versions which do not belong to us in this climate, is nearly gone. What a surprise that was. And it was kind of fun. It was short-lived. For those of you who are northerners, you know what it's like. You have a little sample winter, and then it goes away. So we got a big sample this year. So there's this thing that's called spring cleaning. Nature seems to do this in the springtime, and our true nature nudges us to do it too. Out there, it's the wind and the rain clearing away the old growth, the broken branches and dead leaves, and uncovering the enriched soil that lies beneath, making room for new growth. I was just telling somebody earlier, I love metaphors, and that's why I picked this as the day that I wanted to speak. It's also spring break for me while I'm in school, and so I wanted to have lots of time to be with that. Anyway, so you know what's happening out there. Little sprouts appear, buds and leaves, flowers and blossoms, vibrant greens and other bright colors of the rainbow appearing on the trees and the shrubs and on the ground. And there's a flurry of new activity. Those of you who have bird feeders have probably noticed this as well, right? Running, flying, chirping, they're all like really trying to get their fill right now. And migrating birds returning. Where I live with my husband, Rick, we have one of those. It's a real lake. It's a small one, but I think it's real. We'll see. Anyway, we have some birds that are there year round and others that show up cyclically about this time. And I also remember, as probably you do, that a couple of weeks ago, the robins showed up. So those are the things that we look for as signs of spring out there, okay? It's not only a delight to see and hear, it's also contagious and inspiring. Something about this spring energy stirs something similar within us. It's a great time for new beginnings. Definitely. Perfect time for those, because that feeling of newness in the air is so motivating. You just can't help but notice it. So one way that we can join in this is literally. We may find ourselves physically clearing away, uncovering, and making room for the new in our yards, in our garden beds if we have those, or, like the workday, outside right here. I'm sure that was invigorating for you all to be participating in that physical act of clearing away and making room for the new. We do that at home too, and some of us do it with our house plants, trimming them, repotting them with fresh soil, and giving them some fresh air and sunlight. We all need that in some way, right? So there are other versions of spring cleaning that are just as necessary, but not always so simple. When we find a way to do them, they are very rewarding. Have you ever noticed how clean your kitchen, your bathroom, your garage, or your workshop can get when you're supposed to be doing your taxes? That's a good question to ask this week, right? I mean, right? Well, if you're doing corporate taxes, you just made it, right? I could ask you a little later, and it would be for your personal ones. Okay, so sometimes the straightforward, uncomplicated jobs are a lot more appealing than the ones that we really have to think about and work at, the ones that we might be scared to take a look at, right? Still, the rewards of accomplishing the harder tasks can be real game changers. This is what is meant by spring cleaning for the soul. Other types of cleaning, which clear away, uncover, and make room for the new. And yet, we may feel like we don't know where to start. We may fear what we might uncover. We may tell ourselves the old familiar way isn't that bad. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? Okay. So then, showing us how to do things. There's something in our nature, those sprouts and those buds that insist on reaching for more sunlight and more nourishment, more water, more possibilities. They're showing us how to do this. What a blessing it is that this something within us won't let up, that something is in every single one of us. So springtime in the soul is a season for all of us to try again, to go a little further, to venture back out into life and experience more of what it has to offer. We can call upon the contagious examples all around us for inspiration. And we can look to our fellow springers for encouragement and support. Speaking of which, I'm going to use another metaphor and take a drink of water. So, we can count on our fellow springers for support. Back to those things that we may feel are daunting, which we're not going to skip out on, even though it's tempting. We may not know how to do them, and that may stop us in our tracks. We may know exactly what we'll find if we look, and that's really enough to stop us in our tracks. Maybe we've already talked ourselves out of making way for the new, and we've tried our darndest to settle for what's familiar and can't even remember what it's like to get excited about something new because we haven't dared to do that in a while. You know, that's the prayer chaplains talked about wisdom last week, right? And so one of the things that we get to do by being on the planet longer is to get wisdom. But sometimes we don't want it. I'd rather not have that. I'd rather not know. Still, guess what? From our awkward first tries as children and teens and young adults, all the way to wherever we are now, there will always be new experiences. We will adapt, we will learn, we will grow, not by getting everything perfect the first time, but by getting out there and taking a chance again and again until we get something. And then there will be another thing, because that is how life works. So just remember this. There is something within you that not only instinctively reaches for the new experience, it knows what to do when the time comes and lives in a world and in a universe that's made to support you every step of the way. That is also what life is about. So everything learns, everything grows. It's okay if it takes a few seasons to evolve. That's what they are for. Have you ever learned a new trade, a craft, a language, or a skill? Of course, right? You know how to do things. You've gotten to learn how everything from walking to talking to whatever else caught your attention or seemed necessary throughout your life. Maybe how to use a new tool in your kitchen, your studio, your shop, your yard, maybe a new electronic device, or just a new version of your TV, your computer, your phone. Yeah, right. That's what children and grandchildren and friends who are early adopters are, going first and teaching the rest of us how to do things. And sometimes we are the ones to go first. We are the early adopters. We are the ones who get to learn how to use that self-check at the grocery store and show our friend how to do it. That's life. I don't know what you think about this, but I don't like doing things that I don't know how to do. And in the course of daily life, sometimes, maybe it's cleaning house or organizing records, important papers, whatever it is. I have a few things that I'm not good at, and I throw a little tantrum and try to get out of it. Okay. I also get upset when there's something I want to create and I don't know how to use the thing that the creation it gets done with. I mean, how many operating systems have we been forced to adopt, right? Just when you're getting used to the one you like, they make you a new one that they tell you is better, right? Yeah. So they do that, right? I get cranky. I want to give up. New operating systems, platforms like database platforms and things like that. Apps. Oh my goodness. They do something wonderful for us, but not until we're ready to dive in and learn how they work. Can they work for us? That is also life. Learning is part of the deal. It's like a password that opens new doors. So learning that new thing so we can get to the bigger new experience involves some clearing away, uncovering, and making room for the new. There it is again. There it is again. Here's some history. From Super 8 to Beta to VHS to DVD to Blu-ray to streaming, we have adapted so that we can watch movies and TV shows at home or anywhere, really. Some of you will remember this. I know I do. From party lines to single lines on the wall or on a table. Yeah. Okay. To portable phones, sat phones, bag phones. I never had one, but I saw them in Florida. Flip phones, which we thought were so cool. Now we laugh when we see them in movies, right? To smartphones, we have adapted so that we can communicate wherever we are, right? There's something at the end of each of these learning journeys that we really want. So it pairs up with that urge within us that wants something, and off we go. Almost like ready or not, here we go. We're going to learn something again. So these adaptations, central to our evolution for survival and growth, they're happening all the time. We really do know how to do this, and we're not alone. So here we go. Let's get back to the kinds of clearing out, uncovering, and making room for the new that we put off. Do we have to? No. But they are the price of admission for those new experiences that we may be dreaming of. Right? So here we are over here. Here's that thing we would love to experience. And right in the middle is the, I'm going to have to clear something out. I'm going to uncover something, and I'm going to make room for this new thing. And that's the fence that we sit on till our butt hurts, and we've got to do something, right? So what are some examples of these? How about something that you've always wanted to do that keeps getting bumped to the bottom of your list? It could be taking a cooking class, learning a new language, taking a trip, learning to dance, or going on a spiritual retreat, just for an example. There's a trip I've wanted to take for such a long time and keep not believing that I have the time or the money for it. And yet, I know that's not true. So here's where I could use those 3 things of spring cleaning for the soul to do something about that. If I'm ready, if I'm willing, those things are there to support me. Here's one: clearing away. That means something like letting go of my old limiting ideas about this, which have kept me from even trying to go on this trip for years. And there was a social media post just 2 days ago from my family that actually indicated how many years it's been. I don't even want to admit that. Okay. So uncovering means talking about what I don't want to talk about, facing what I've feared facing, uncovering my real reasons for thinking that I can't go. I can't solve the problem if I won't look at it. Sound familiar? Unfortunately, yes, that's part of the deal. And making room for the new means whatever I clear away, whatever I uncover, I'm going to need to take that metaphorical brush to the curb for pickup or to the burn barrel or however we dispose of that in our case. One way or another, it's got to go. I can't keep it. I got to take it out, and I need to not bring it back in. Okay? No bringing the garbage back in. And then something that we have not talked about yet this morning is a very important 4th step that comes into play: choosing. What am I choosing to put in its place? If I don't choose that, what I just cleared out will show up again. That's like a spiritual truth, okay? If you haven't changed the pattern at all, if you haven't changed what you're planting, if you haven't changed anything other than to just clear off the debris from last time, that thing will come back. For one reason is that nature abhors a vacuum. So you can't make space without having a plan for what you're going to put in there instead. Or the same old thing will just flow right back in. It's just natural. So choosing. What am I choosing to put in its place? If I don't choose that, what I just cleared out will show up again. Before we talk about choosing, this is really great because there have already been some announcements and some reference to the Youth of Unity program. Here's what their lesson plan is for today. If you looked at the newsletter, I looked at it and I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Seed waterers. This is what the youth program has this morning. We've pulled the weeds. Now it's time to water our flower thoughts. This week, your child is learning that thoughts grow stronger when we give them attention, like seeds need water. We're practicing affirmations and discovering that what we pay attention to grows. So why not grow thoughts that make us feel peaceful and strong? That's what the youth are learning in the back rooms right now. Excuse me. So not only does this fit with our topic this morning, it's also the first thing that we're going to talk about in my workshop this afternoon, before diving into spiritual practices that help us tune in to the best that life has to offer us. And last but not least, the term that comes from filmmaking and theater and elsewhere, and action, cooperating. Cooperating with our desired outcomes, acting as if they are already so, is how we make them welcome and make ourselves available to them. For example, I can clear away the old ideas that say, I can't go on that trip. I can take an honest look at my reasons and ask myself, are they really true? I can take my false ideas to the curb for pickup. I can start focusing on the qualities I wish to experience on this trip. This, again, is spiritual practice and new thought. I can make it welcome, as May McCarthy says, in my mind and in my heart, and take steps to be open to it. Here's another example that can give an example of how this can work and does work. I was trying to think of a recent story, a success story, because those that we have in our past successes, we can reference them and say, wait a minute, this does work. I do know something about this. I can do this. I can do this again. So here's that little story. So another example is that I wanted to go back to school, and yet ministry and moving all around North America, the continent, all over for the past 24 years, here, there, and everywhere. It didn't leave a lot of room for school. I kept reapplying and then would move again for another opportunity. And so it'd be like, oh, shucks. It's really hard to put it down because I really wanted to do it. The other thing is being busy all the time with whatever you're choosing to do, right? You can only do so much at once. So that kept having to wait. Eventually, though, as the seasons in my life changed, I was able to clear away what had become my previous daily routine, uncover that long-held desire, make room for the new, in this case, going back to school, choose where to do that, take action, make it welcome, and make myself available to it, use my spiritual tools to help along the way, and voila, I am in my second year as a university student again. And that took, right? That's the process. That's the recipe. It's really simple. And sometimes we stand there, with knocking knees saying, oh, I might have to quit this job or change the definition of my relationship with someone. I might have to really think. Here's another thing. Think about the opportunities that we say yes to. Think about, sometimes I just want to say yes to every opportunity. I want to chase after everything that inspires me. I want to be on every committee. I want to do everything. And then you realize, I have left no space in my life. And maybe if you do those things over and over again because it's what you've always done, choice disappears. And then you're no longer doing those things for the reasons you once had. So that's why, I know Reverend James said a couple weeks ago about doing a little bit of a review every once in a while and saying, who am I now? Do I love what I'm doing? That's an example of this same process. So I made room, made choices, I took action, I used my spiritual tools, and guess what? All of the no's that appeared at other times and other places gave way to miracles, because miracles happen when we do this. There was an amazing job waiting for me when I landed in Greenville a few years ago. And a coworker, yes, I'm going to talk about that, Dory. A coworker who had become a friend, who's sitting right over here, Dory, who told me about free tuition for in-state students over the age of 60 in South Carolina. And I think I was 59 at the time. I was so on the verge. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do that. I was 58 and a half or 59, And so we worked together for 2.5, 3 years or something. And that was such a gem. And I even had a false start, by the way, because I started and then I went to Asheville for another job opportunity. Then I came back and the college is like, are you really ready now? So I had to re-up all of that. But now it's really happening. That's life. You don't get everything right on the first try. Everything is a dress rehearsal, okay? And the miracles. We have allies and we have miracles everywhere we go. Affirmations, affirmative prayers, cooperative actions, of course they help. We need all of that. And if we sit on our couches and say our little mantras and our affirmations and don't ever get up, life will pass us by, because that's not the deal either, right? So we get to grow, we get to learn, we get to move, we get to choose. It all works together. So clearing away. And by the way, there are worksheets, half-page worksheets on the back table there. You can take one and ask yourself these questions about whatever this means for you. today in your life right now? Clearing away. Where are you holding on to ideas about something or someone or yourself? Uncovering. What might you uncover about it or them or you if you did look? It's okay. It's going to be okay, really. Like one of the things that I practiced was telling the truth and discovering that nobody dies. That's a good thing to work on. Making room. Okay. Okay, so making room for the new. How might you make room for what you really want to have happen or want to experience? I just mentioned a moment ago, it might involve saying, I need to be somewhere else. I need to be a different version of me now. And that's going to mean that some of my relationships are going to change and the commitments that I make are going to be different. Do you know what? When you tell that truth, nobody dies. You set people free to do the same thing. You know, when you decide I'm complete with this committee or that role, it's okay. Why? Because everything grows. You're not the only one who's changing. Okay. So choose what steps you can take to make sure that something new lands in that place that you've created with this clearing away and this uncovering, this honesty. And take action. What actions can you take to make this welcome? You know from your spiritual studies, I'm sure, that, or if you're a fan of quantum physics, whatever the source might be, we get to be the thing we wish to experience, be the friend, be the opportunity, be the quality of spirit, whatever it is, we get to be equal to, I think the new thought term is to create a mental equivalent. So create something within you that is equal to that thing you desire. And you will bring it in. You will magnetize it. So that's one way to do spring cleaning for the soul. Think about it. Try it out. Like I said, there are worksheets on the back table. You could go have yourself a cup of coffee. You have to go where nobody knows you if you want to get anything done in public, by the way. I know this. So I don't tell people where I go. All right? Ride the wave of springtime and see what new things come your way. Even better, okay, here comes an invitation. If you're in the building, which you are, right? And if you're not, I'm so sorry, this is going to be an in-person workshop today. Grab a snack, okay? Buy something at the bake sale. We've got sandwiches, cheese and crackers, applesauce and chips. So see, you kind of have a meal forming here, even if you didn't bring anything today. And join us in the back room for sharing, refreshing, and learning a few new things about spiritual tools to help you on your way. It's with me, so you're going to have a good time. There's a lot of opportunity to share what you're doing, what works for you. Very little teaching, lots of experience from 12 to 2 today in the conference room. So in the meantime, I want you to consider just taking this all in. I'm guessing you've already decided what this means for you in your life. And we are going to turn the lights down and do a beautiful quiet song and move into a meditation just to integrate this material. Okay? So I invite you to just stay comfortable, keep your eyes closed. Take a deep breath. Karen Drucker's words tell us that underneath all that stuff that you clear away, what you uncover is love. What you're making room for is an experience of love. So even when we seem to lose our way, all we need to do is follow our hearts. Trust our instincts. And we'll find ourselves uncovering love We'll be moved to clear away what seems to be blocking our path. We'll be moved to rediscover that something that we know is there for us in life. We will find a way, and we will succeed in making room for, in welcoming and experiencing that new thing. And even as it may be dramatic, it may take longer than we expect. We may have to learn something. We'll definitely be letting something go. We can trust that this process is perfect, always leading us to a better and greater experience of what it means to be us. And so even as we do get to learn things and let go of things, we will also find on the classic hero's journey that we have allies. We have support. We always have everything we need at every turn. And it always works out for us. This is the truth and the beauty of this life. We are on a magnificent interactive journey with that which created us and all life. It's extraordinary. So take a moment to imagine what you've heard today and what it means to you. What is that resolve that is rising up in you at this opportunity to pay attention to it, to listen to what it has to say for you, to discover what it has to give you, then to make the decision to take the leap, to trust, and to follow that urge, that voice, and to know that wherever you end up, it will be greater than where you are right now. And if there is someone you would like to bring into this meditation, someone for whom you would like to know these things, perhaps a friend, a relative, maybe someone who appears to be struggling, know this for them too. And we'll just take a moment in the silence to put that together, each of us, in our own hearts, right now. And so as we return to this space right here where we are now, And just know that all of those thoughts are like seeds. You have just watered them with your consciousness. You chose them wisely with intention. And the soil of your subconscious, the soil in which the law of attraction dwells, is already acting upon those seed thoughts and beginning to germinate them. Continue to tend those, and they will become your new experience. So we take a deep breath and give thanks, knowing that this is so, and we let this all go and say together, and so it is.
So it is.
And then open your eyes, take another deep breath and stretch. Got lots of good things to take home today.